Tracy, seeing some familiar names in here. We will be getting started shortly. While we are waiting for folks to join, if you guys want to put in the chat your favorite holiday food item, it can be a dessert, side item, turkey, whatever, put that in the chat so we can get ready for lunch here.
Or breakfast.
Or breakfast, depending on where you are. Absolutely. Hi, Amy, Cindy. Gonna give it one more minute for people to log in. Gingerbread cookies. Leanne, I think I've heard you say that before. Spiked eggnog, Chris, that's wonderful. I've been watching a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies lately, and it seems like every single one there's some eggnog in there. Oh, stolen, nice. Todd, what's your favorite holiday food?
I have to say my favorite holiday food is a dessert. It's a Kringle.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
my dad is from Wisconsin or from Michigan, and he lived in Wisconsin for a while, and he introduced us to Kringles. And man, every year I love ordering them. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, those are so good. I hadn't had one until a few years ago. So Mason, you guys are having a Thanksgiving luncheon today in the office. That's wonderful. Oh yeah, mashed potatoes and gravy are on my mind a lot. Okay, well, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for sharing your favorite holiday food item. My mouth is watering. But everybody, my name is Jenny Kinney, and I am on the client success team at Living Security and the director of the Living Security community. I see most of you are already members, but if you have not yet joined, Leanne, will you please put in the link to the community so they can go ahead and join? We would absolutely love to have you. So we designed this Ask Me Anything series at the beginning of this year to help educate our clients and the community at large about the industry's evolution from check the box compliance training to a more holistic approach to securing our organizations. And we're hoping that we can encourage you, no matter where you are on your program's journey, to start making more small steps toward using data to make smarter decisions about how you spend your time in your role. So all of the AMA recordings are on our AMA page. Leanne is going to put that in the chat as well. So if you've missed any, you can take a look to see which ones appeal to you. They're all about 30 minutes, so it's not a huge investment of your time. And they're all very conversational, easy to understand. So love the series, and I think you'll get a lot from it. Please add your questions to the Q&A session of the Zoom, and we will get to as many as we can. So questions go in Q&A. The sessions are a lot more valuable with your questions. So to encourage you to engage with us, I'm going to be raffling off a human risk management maturity consultation to one lucky winner who engages with us. This is about a 2-hour commitment I'll spend with you going through the HR and maturity plan and making recommendations for you. Damon, you are already familiar with this process. Okay, so today we are thrilled to have Todd Stewart with us to talk about leveraging data for organizational security. Again, this is being recorded and will be posted to the AMA page later if you'd like to share it with a friend or coworker. Todd is a highly accomplished cybersecurity pro with a knack for tackling all things business and tech, from system implementation and cybersecurity to process improvement. He's known for spotting opportunities and crafting smart solutions and is a resourceful problem solver. Todd, I hope I'm not embarrassing you. Todd,
All I'm thinking is I hope my boss is listening. So
yeah, exactly. Again, it's recorded. You can share it with them. Todd thrives on driving cross-functional projects and partnering with stakeholders to get things done. He has a bachelor's degree in information technology and is currently the principal cybersecurity analyst at Salt River Project. He's one of our favorite clients, and he is always up for chatting about cybersecurity, preferably over a good cigar and a glass of bourbon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Todd, thank you so much again for joining us today, and I'll let you take it away.
My pleasure. And thank you all for taking time out of your day to join us. And I hope you find some value in what I have to share. But I'd like to share a little bit about how cybersecurity works at Salt River Project, SRP for short. First, we are a public utility headquartered in Tempe, Arizona. We're actually the nation's largest public utility with over 1 million plus residential customers. We are also unique in the sense that we're charged with the stewardship of the water in the state of Arizona. We're over 100 years old. We're part of the Federal Reclamation Act. And I've been with SRP for 22 years, with the last 13 in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity at Salt River Project, I think, has kind of a unique setup. Our department includes 5 different teams. We have an architecture team, we have an identity and access management team, we have a threat management team, which is our SOC. We have an assurance team, which is our compliance and policies. And then we have the team that I work on, the business awareness team. We sit between the business and cybersecurity. So we speak cybersecurity to our guys, we speak business to the business side. And that structure has really helped us because, like all cybersecurity folks, we wear many hats. My team is responsible for data loss prevention, vulnerability management, program management for CSS, cybersecurity services for short. And we also do organizational change management for cybersecurity initiatives. So our security awareness training portion has evolved dramatically over the years. Because we know we are the team charged reducing cyber risk, we are the team charged reducing human cyber risk within the organization specifically. We've had to evolve as the industry as well. So we started this many, many years ago. When I came to the team, there were 14 people. There's now 45. So there's been a lot of maturity for our program over the years. And along with that, our security awareness training has evolved. We actually call the team that handles that, the team that I'm part of, the ACE team, Awareness, Communication, and Education. We started with general security awareness training with a compliance, a check the box move. Because we're critical infrastructure, being a utility, we have certain federal regulations that we had to fit. And one of them is always you have to have an awareness and training program. We started with just sending out a newsletter, and that was many, many years ago. That was our training. As the maturity of the department grew and we started looking at other areas and other businesses and how they ran their programs, we realized we needed to step things up. So we moved into the compliance slot of your yearly training. We knew that wasn't enough. As we continued to grow, we moved into more of a role-based training. And that was a great big improvement for it, but it still left a lot of gaps for us. We still knew we were not getting people what they needed. And I'll give you a for instance. Developers always need some very good training. We had trouble finding developers within our organization because of the way that our job titles work. Like we use technician, that means anything. Who would have thought that there would be 2 technicians in our corporate secretary's office that are actually developers? So we went through a lot of struggle with that, trying to fix that. Over the years, we got better at it, finding the groups and the right people, and we switched to a risk-based type of training. It's more people-centric, kind of a current term still used out in the industry. But really, we were able to get closer to providing people training on the specifics of their job and how their cyber risk can be improved. We knew there was more we could do, though. Many years ago, my teammate, Luis Martinez, and I, when we started developing the security awareness training program for CSS, we would go to conferences and we'd come back and people would say, oh, we got this new great thing for our security awareness and training. And very often, and nothing wrong with this, but very often it was just a new vehicle that they could communicate through, or possibly something different in their phishing program. But we knew there was more. And we, many years ago, actually sketched out an idea for a risk scorecard. We thought, man, it'd be great if we had the ability to show people exactly what their risk was related to what they do at work, kind of help them make those better cybersecurity decisions. But we just couldn't do it. The information was disparate, too many screens to look at and correlate all together. Well, we had the opportunity this last year to be able to change our security awareness vendors, and we discovered Living Security. And we saw what the gap was. We needed data. And the data is helping us tell the story because it shows exactly how people are interacting with our technology stack, what their decisions are, and the end results of their choices. This has really greatly improved our visibility into the organization. It's given us the opportunity to evolve and our training specifically, but also evolve our ability to get in front of things, to be able to be preemptive. I love my boss. She says, I want the SOC to be bored. I don't want them to have anything to look into. I want to get us out in front. And that's a great goal. We'll never get there. We need our SOC guys. We need our technical controls. We love all that stuff. But the thought of being able to be more proactive to help people make better decisions greatly will help reduce the risk to SRP. So the data is the key for us. And here are 4 areas in which that we are concentrating right now. So each area has many detections within it. So for phishing, we look at everything. As Jenny said, it provides a holistic view. So when we look at the phishing now, we can tell those stories that need to be told. For instance, one of our discoveries with the phishing was keep in mind too, with security awareness training, people tend to think it's going to be punitive or corrective. And that is true in most cases, but there's also really good stories in the data. And one of the best stories that we have is our phishing rates, reporting phishing. We had a hard time within the tool that we use being able to distinctly tell which groups were performing how. This Living Security has opened up that for us. It's pulled back the curtain so we can see. So one of the first things we saw in the data once we started to understand how to use the tool was there's a good story there. And the good story is that our executives are the best in the organization at reporting phishing, both simulated and potentially real phishes. This tool has also given us the ability to track real phishing attempts and report rates versus simulated. We've been able to look at credential logins and credential failures. We work with our SOC to determine, wow, we can see a lot of attacks on our tenant. There's a lot of credential stuffing going out there, which helps us build tools, helps us build programs, helps us build vehicles in which we can communicate to people, hey, watch your credentials. Your credentials are now the new firewall because we work in a hybrid environment, so let's take good care of them. I also love the fact that the data provides us a view that we didn't have before in terms of our technical side. So we can look now at the human risk index score and we can determine where we at in the patching cycle. And that's really big because if we see that there are potential issues, if there's threat intelligence out there that says there's a specific attack, they use these techniques, tools, and procedures, it gives us the ability to look at our organization and say, can that impact this area? Can that impact us overall? Where are we at with our technical controls? Where are we at with our behavioral controls? So really, it is almost like the Wizard of Oz and pulling it back and seeing who's pulling the levers. And we're very grateful for that because it's going to help us make the organization stronger.
Todd, this is great. And this might be a good chance. We have a question. If we had to identify the 4 most risky roles globally, what would they be? And I don't know if you're able to speak to that. I know that Unify does uncover a lot of, different roles and where they lie on the risk index. And I'm sure, it would definitely vary by organization, but have you been able to uncover anything that surprised you in that area?
Not so much surprise, but how much really for me when I hear roles roles related to specific privileges. It's the it's
Okay.
the it's the higher level privileges that become very problematic within that role. For us, is we've been able to identify we may have too much privilege out there. And
Mhm.
so this tool will help us dial some of that back. In fact, I can actually see a point in the future where somebody requests elevated privileges, and we'll come in here and look at their behavior score and say, maybe not. Um, because we want to ensure the person that has that elevated privilege is making the right cyber decisions.
One thing that I think is nice about actually being able to uncover this data is sometimes we like hear stories or we make assumptions that the data will tell us is not true. I remember one of my clients, their CISO came to them, was like, yeah, I'm hearing that recruiters are a big problem to us. And when we looked at their risk scores, recruiters were actually, their behavior was great compared to their colleagues. And so again, it can be like a myth buster and it can really uncover things that are surprising. And that's what I just love about data analytics. When I was at my previous role, when I was back when I was a Living Security client, I remember telling my CISO, I was like, we need to really concentrate on our consultants. They are a much bigger risk to us. And he was like, why do you say that? I was like, because I watched the Snowden movie, like, like I really had no data. It was just an assumption that I had made. That was incorrect. And so that's what I love about being able to aggregate all of this behavioral information to really uncover which roles are the biggest risk. And again, Yannick, I believe it will vary, and you could be surprised.
Absolutely. And it's when we did an initial demo for our executive leadership within cybersecurity services, one of the gentlemen that is our director pointed out, please keep in mind the data is only part of the story. And it's very easy, especially coming from the SOC and things like that. It's very easy to say, oh, all these little data points say this is happening. But until you engage that customer, until you engage that user and determine why these decisions were made, it's not the full story.
Right.
So, I love the fact that this forces you to interact with our people. We can come to them saying, well, we saw this, and we can hear what they're saying or what they're doing. It might give us an opportunity to fix a process, or might give us an opportunity to educate them on a better way to do something. So for me, pulling all of this back is truly the most helpful item you can get out of this tool.
Yeah, and you're operating from the philosophy that your employees really want to be able to do the right thing.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. We're very fortunate, because we're a utility. Safety is a huge, huge thing at SRP. Safety and security are kind of correlate. So our culture has been very, very good at adopting the thought that they need to be also safe in their virtual world. So here are our aha moments. So we've only been on the platform since May, so we're still very much brand new. One thing I will encourage you, if you're a Living Security customer, stay close to your customer relationship manager. Nick is ours. Big shout out to Nick. I know he's not here today; he's traveling, but Nick has been vital in helping us understand the data. It's kind of intimidating sometimes when you're a beginner and you open up and all this data is there. How do you make sense of it? And Living Security has done a wonderful job helping us discover some items. So, for instance, our phishing reporting, we notice that our report rate goes down later in the week. So, we've altered our drills. They're now going out in times to force people to reinforce to people that there are rating you should be reporting all the time. We're also building some communications, some vehicles in which we're going to help reinforce how important reporting is. So we've gotten better randomization for our simulated drills right out of the box. Our new hires are always a challenge. They lag in adopting our cybersecurity processes. So we introduce cybersecurity when they're a new hire, but we need to do more reinforcement once they've been released onto the floor, particularly like with credential handling. We have a new hire, and we are reaching out to her. She has, in the last 30 days, she's had 24 multiple login failures. Now, what that tells me is, one, she may not know what our standard is. I guess she has to. Our standard for a password is 15 characters. But a lot of people tend to use complexity, even when a passphrase will be the best thing you can use. So we're going to reach out, we're going to coach, we're going to help. The behavior score that Living Security recently introduced has been really important to us, because now we can clearly see the distinction between that human risk index and the behavior score of a user. So it really, when we first saw the data, it was, like I said, overwhelming and confusing. But over time, with Nick's help, we've been able to look at it differently. But once we saw the behavior score, we were immediately able to align that behavior score to our own top 10 risks. Our risk management team has recently gone through an exercise to allow us to see what is the most risky items that our executives are concerned about, and what we feel are the most risky for SRP. So we've been able to align that behavior score to that. So now when the strategic risk management team comes and says, well, what are you doing to prevent this? Well, we can look into our tool and say, this is what we're seeing, and these are the campaigns, the trainings, the projects that we've undertaken to help lock down and protect what is the riskiest items that we see. So it's a fantastic tool. I mean, we're very happy with it. We're very happy with our relationship with Living Security. I highly encourage you, if you are a Living Security customer, to, like I said, keep close to your customer relationship manager, ask questions, ask crazy questions. You know, help them figure out why something is good or bad, and help them help you develop and tell those stories for your organization.
And Todd, please tell everyone that we are not paying you to say this.
You are not paying me to say this. I'm so enthusiastic about it because it selfishly it makes our job easier.
I
It
love
really
it.
does. It
Okay.
makes, we can see things we've never seen before. And being able to do that and then turn around and make use of that data is huge.
So we have a question in here about this. I think you're speaking to it a bit right now, anecdotally, but how would you manage to prove the ROI of getting a solution like living security and the risk reduction related to human risk management? So I think if somebody, was interested in this, but maybe having trouble justifying the expense up to leadership, like how would you guide them through that?
You know, the only thing that you can do to prove that is measure. So you have to have the data first. You have to identify the problem. Once you've
Right.
identified the problem, provide your solution. So you measure it before, provide your solution, measure it after. If you can demonstrate to leadership that there is an improvement in phishing reporting, pick something that you know you can have an impact with first.
Right.
And then if you can show cleanly that you have an improvement because of the data that you're able to see from the tool, that's a pretty strong argument. I mean, for me, once you unravel everything, because cybersecurity is kind of a mystery. But when we go out and do presentations and talk to people, one of the important things that we always mention is that we're pulling the curtain back for you. You're in a safe space, ask questions. So for a leader, if you pull that curtain back and show them specifically areas that you can improve, if you can demonstrate that you can improve in an area, then it's most likely going to be a win for you.
Fantastic. And we have, going back to the new hires that you were mentioning earlier, did you manage them apart from the standard phishing campaign for a while and then fold them in through to your regular program, or how did you tackle that?
No, we right out of the box, they're part of the phishing campaigns. In
Okay.
fact, um, we've kind of gotten away from it. We're reworking the way we do phishing here, and we want to make it more targeted. We want to make it harder, if you will, more productive. I shouldn't say harder, but for a while we were phishing them. I mean, really, really really hard right out of the gate, just to let them know, yep, got a phishing program here. And since we've stopped doing that, we've actually seen a drop in the reporting rate. So we treat everybody in phishing the same. We don't give you a message when you report a phishing, hey, great job identifying the drill, because we want people to treat everything as a potential risk.
Okay.
So for us, with the new hires, they do lag in the reporting rate. We're going to go back to doing some direct phishing once they get here. And again, I get it. You're new to the organization. You're not quite sure what the expectations are for cybersecurity practices, but we are going to be bringing that number up. In fact, maybe if we do another one next year, you'll be able to see the number has risen quite dramatically.
Yeah, Damon is on the call right now, and David, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but we did uncover as part of the Unify data analytics some new hire behaviors that they wanted to address right away. So they were able to justify getting on the onboarding docket, basically, to talk about the specific behaviors that they were seeing uncovered. So that was a big win for us, and then they could again measure the ROI on that to see, like, are the behaviors decreasing because of those efforts? And in this case, they were. So that was again just like one of those big ones from the start.
It's a huge win. That's a huge win because we have a little video at the beginning, little training for new hires, but it's not enough. So we
Yeah.
want to make sure that we're bringing everybody up to the same level as a tenured employee.
And you just never know, like, depending on where they came from, what kind of cybersecurity education they've had in the past. It's all over the
Exactly.
board. So they could have never even had cybersecurity training, never seen a phishing email simulation before. So it's a great way to level set.
I agree.
And I wanted to show everybody an example of a behavior scorecard, because I think it's super interesting, the information that it bubbles up per employee. But before I do that, I would like for you to start talking about, you've made some headway already. You've just been looking at this since May, but I'm sure you're thinking about for your 2025 roadmap, like what are some steps you plan to take in the future to keep you on on that maturity journey. So any specific, data points, what are you thinking about?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We have a couple more integrations that we're going to be doing because we want a fuller picture. For instance, we want our risk register in there because when somebody asks for an exception to a policy, that automatically increases the potential of risk. We're going to be rolling that into to help us get a fuller picture, a more holistic picture of people and the potential risks that they may have. We're very blessed that my management within CSS has allowed us to basically have the tool for a year to learn how to use it, to get the data, to see what we can do, to identify gaps, and it's been a win so far. So in our fiscal year 25, we'll actually be rolling it out to the organization. Well, they will
Okay.
be getting their risk scorecards. They will be seeing things. So we're going through the process right now of our company senior leadership of socializing it with them so they'll be able to understand the impact across the organization. And then we're going to alter the way that we do training. We're going to be able to be more pinpoint and be able to identify the specific needs because of the data. So, generally people either get training that's too much or training that's not enough, not related to what they do. Well, this is going to fix that.
Absolutely. Gosh, I just love it. You're just like from your mouth to God's ears. But yeah, so this is an example of a scorecard. And of course, as we are in development with each of our clients for the scorecard, we would brand it using your logo, and hopefully you may even have a departmental security minded logo that we could use. We can, again, call this whatever you want. We can also incorporate the behaviors that you are most interested in based upon your risks, your policies and controls, et cetera. So this is my admin account, basically. So you can see from here, my score is an 84 out of 100. If this was something that I got in high school, I would probably cry. Anything below a 96 was very, very bad. But so anyway, I would be still today, I see this, I'm like, what can I do to get the score up? But if I take a look at this, the average enterprise score is a 70. And then, so I know I'm at least doing better than average. It kind of like gets that competitive nature going, hopefully, in your employees. And then you see these different headers here about data security, authentication. There are some specifics here about how my score was calculated. So I've been successfully logging in with MFA. I have 7 detections of stale credentials, so that's negatively impacting my score. So I'll need to address that. And 3 detections of password manager used recently. Again, some of these, what may not be pertinent to your specific organization, so that can be easily customized for you. But then, yeah, so you can see that we break it down by category and then adjust the points accordingly. So I wanted to show you guys an example of that.
Thank you for sharing that because that was a big driver for us as well. That was the thing that we have wanted to do for years and years and years, and now we're going to get the chance to do it.
How long did it take to implement living security for the pilot program? I know we try to get it done as quickly as possible when it comes to the integrations. They're primarily done by API, and we do have APIs for the most common security tools in your tech stack, I would say. I know our goal is to get you up and running within 30 to 90 days, depending upon the complexity of your organization, how big it is, how many people, how many different admins we have to pull together. But for you guys, for Salt River Project, how long did it take?
60, and it's the same basic struggles that you have with anybody else. Is just getting the admins and getting the ability to help them understand why we're asking for this, helping them understand where the data is going to reside, who's going to be able to see it. And once you get past those roadblocks and the API is loaded, it's super easy.
Okay, well, Todd, thank you again. I think this was just super valuable, easy to understand, which is wonderful. Leanne, could you please put both of our LinkedIn links into the chat? Because I know, Todd, we spoke before this, and you were kind enough to offer up, like, if somebody has any questions, more questions I'm sure have come to mind about your journey. And so please feel free to connect with Todd. He's a very, very kind and generous human, would be happy to connect with you and talk to you about his experience here.
I'd be happy to. Please feel free to reach out to me.
Okay.
But I will the caveat, I'm terrible at LinkedIn. I get lazy. So
Okay.
if you don't hear from a while, I will get to you.
Okay, fair enough. You can reach me, and I know how to find Todd. So
Perfect.
okay. Amazing. Thanks again, everybody. And we will be sending out this recording if you happen to miss anything. And again, you probably have members of your team that didn't get a chance to join today that could maybe learn something from it. So, yep, have a great week and holiday season, everybody.
You as well. Have a good
Thank
one. Thank you
you.
again.
Okay, bye.
Bye.